All right, welcome to today's 1 hour free webinar hosted by Prevention Plus Wellness, LLC, excuse me, located here in beautiful St. Augustine, Florida. My name is Dr. Chudley Wirch, and I'm president and founder at Prevention Plus Wellness. Thank you for joining us. We've got a good number of people here today. Thank you, Mohammed. and I hope you'll be able to stay with us throughout the hour. For those of you that are with us, you'll be receiving a 1 hour certificate, 1 hour CEU certificate. I'll also send you, because we're recording this, I'll send you a link to this recorded session and a PDF slide. So you'll receive all those things later today from me if you've registered for this session. So you can see what this is all about. This is about a single session or single lesson youth and parent substance use prevention plus wellness programs. This is updated. This is what we sometimes call the prevention plus wellness core knowledge. So we include this as part of the training for those that are becoming a certified program implementer of any of our programs. Thank you again for joining us. Let's take a look at the objectives. I've reduced this from 4 objectives to 3, so it's a little bit more focused and I think better because of that. So you will be actually able to describe the substance use prevention plus wellness programs that we offer, these screening and brief interventions for youth and for parents. Secondly, you'll be able to identify a whole range of unique characteristics of prevention plus wellness programs, how PPW programs are differentiated from other substance use programs, health programs, evidence-based programs, and particularly how they're able to be implemented broadly to both prevent substance use while promoting broader mental and physical health of youth and young adults. And then thirdly, you'll be able to, with me, review the research and the theory which supports the use of brief interventions for integrating prevention with promotion, or substance use prevention with wellness promotion. Okay, those are the objectives. Let's jump right into taking a look at PPW programs. Now this is expanded. We've had some new programs we've added, but the original program was the SPORT, Alcohol and Drug Prevention Plus Wellness Program. We continue to expand and improve on this program over time. Right now we have high school, middle school, and elementary school versions of this program. Here's an overview of the program. It is one of our 2 evidence-based programs. That just means that this program is listed on a whole range of evidence-based registries like Blueprints for Healthy Youth Development, is NREP, et cetera. And this program has undergone rigorous evaluation, a number of trials, randomization to groups, baseline data collection, follow-up data collection, even a year later. And this SPORT program has been found to prevent alcohol, tobacco, marijuana use among general youth populations and substance using populations. The focus of this program is to prevent alcohol and drugs while promoting physical activity, healthy nutrition, healthy breakfast and nutrition, sleep, and to a lesser extent, stress control. It's a single session program. It's a screening and brief intervention. That is, it's a motivational program, and it's designed to motivate and improve these behaviors that are being targeted. It can be implemented in 1 session within about 40-45 minutes or longer. And it's implemented with slides. So you have actually a physical manual with scripts in it, and you could read the script to youth, and you could implement it to youth one-on-one or individually or in a group, in person or online. You have your manual with your scripts, and you have a digital download of all reproducible materials. So you don't have to purchase anything outside of that original purchase that you've made. So you don't have to keep buying materials for you as an instructor or for your youth. It includes optional parent materials, a letter, and 4 weekly flyers. So you actually have a second intervention in the SPORT program. And it has protocols to provide it online. Hopefully, not too many will be using that as we transition back into face-to-face reality for our lives and for our professions and for our work in prevention and health. Our second evidence-based program is the InShape Alcohol Drug Prevention Plus Wellness Program. This is like sport, but different because it's designed for young adults, and it's being implemented on college campuses and communities, even in the US military. So this program was found through research to prevent alcohol, cannabis, drinking, and driving. By the way, effects were found even a year later for sport and for the one-session InShape program. While sport increased physical activity, InShape increased physical activity, sleep, and health-related quality of life among young adults. The focus of this program, like sport, alcohol, and in this case, tobacco, as well as nutrition, different types of physical activity, sleep, and stress control. Single session, a little bit longer than sport, but it can be implemented within a 60-minute period. Screening and brief intervention uses positive images. I'll talk about the theory and the notion of positive images here in a few minutes. You have a physical manual with a script to implement it one-on-one or in a group. So very, very flexible programs, Prevention Plus Wellness. And you get a digital download of all the reproducible materials so you can implement it to countless young adults. And that is in person as well as online. That's InShape. Now let's take a look at our programs that were adopted from sport and InShape. And that is our vaping, which is our e-cigarette prevention plus wellness program, which comes in high school, middle school, and elementary school versions. Our marijuana prevention plus wellness program, which also comes in high school, middle school, and elementary school versions. Both of these programs, vaping and marijuana PPW, are adaptations of the sport program. So they're modifications of sport, the evidence-based sport program. Then we have an opioid prevention plus wellness program. We've got an adolescent version as well as a high-risk young men and women version of the opioid. Now, the opioid PPW program is a modification of the InShape program. So together, these are all, like all prevention plus wellness programs, follow a evidence-based practices screening and brief intervention model. So all PPW programs use evidence-based practices screening and brief intervention. The program that you choose will depend on whether it addresses e-cigarettes or marijuana or opioids, obviously. But all these programs, marijuana, vaping, and opioid PPW programs, are single session screening and brief interventions. They're implemented with slides. You get a physical manual, you get a digital download, focuses on positive behaviors, positive images. Positive images, by the way, are more effective and less likely to tune young people out for the prevention messages, which, by the way, is very important when you're working, especially with older adolescents and young adults. And you can provide these programs in person or online. We also have a multi-session program, a 6-session program that's called our sport, which is again sport 2 alcohol and drug prevention plus wellness program, high school, middle school, elementary school versions. So these are the topics that are addressed. These are the lessons that are addressed, or the sessions in the sport 2 program. Notice you got 3 different types of physical activity, lessons on each of those, 2 lessons on nutrition, 1 on healthy nutrition, 1 on monitoring food and calorie intake, and a final 1 on sleep and stress control. So this is a great program for like a health education setting where you have access to youth and you want to provide more content. A lot of organizations will implement sport first, which integrates all of these behaviors in one lesson. and then they'll implement and follow up with Sport 2, which dissects or pulls these behavioral topics out separately and addresses them. Nonetheless, Sport 2, like all of our programs, screening and brief intervention, manualized, scripted for implementation one-on-one or in a group, digital downloads, positive image and behavior focus, etc. We also have 2 additional programs, racial justice PPW and in God's image PPW. Both of these address other issues associated with youth substance use, and that is discrimination, racial discrimination, and spirituality. Now, the racial justice PPW program is unique in that it focuses on 4 racial justice behaviors. You can see them here to the right: contemplation, observing, learning, and then helping or action to prevent racism and to improve social equity in the youth schools and communities, even online. So, very unique program, racial justice PPW. The In God's Image program links substance use prevention with healthy behavior promotion and spiritual behavior promotion. And that program is now being offered totally digital, and it's free on our website, preventionpluswellness.com. You can go right now and get it for free. So, anything else for PPW? Yes, absolutely. We've got a relatively new set of programs, Prevention Plus Wellness Parent Program. So it was not too many weeks or months ago that some of our providers said, hey, we love your programs. We also provide parent training, but our parent training is very challenging because it's a multi-session. Can you provide us with programs like your youth programs where we can train parents in a single session? So that's how that was the impetus for conceiving and developing our PPW parent program. So what you have here is a single session program, and what you get within this program is, as you can see here, 3 components to it. You get PowerPoint slides to train parents. You have instructor directions, and you have parent materials to give the parents. And this is designed to get parents and caregivers within your region or your organization to provide the same positive behavior and image communication that you're presenting to youth if you're using any PPW youth programs. So that's our parent programs. Those are relatively new. And so you can train parents to provide sport, for example, sport messages, sport PPW messages to their youth, or marijuana PPW messages, or vaping, e-cigarette PPW messages to their youth, and walk them through goal setting right there in their homes. We also have one program, our Sport Prevention Plus Wellness program for high school students in a virtual interactive video format. It's two videos, and the same program that you would present to youth in person or online is now in a video format. So you could send this video link to youth, or you could show this video to youth in a classroom setting. The advantage of this is that you've got this, beautiful dynamic imagery of youth engaged in these wellness behaviors. So that's the advantage of the Prevention Plus Wellness video program. We have programs, but we've at this point just developed one program, and that is the Sport PPW program for high school. If we get requests for other video programs, we will create them for you. Lastly, we brought back a license, and this has been very popular, and that is, it's a 3-year unlimited PPW program license. So let's say you're ready to really expand your reach of your PPW program in your organization, your region, your state, even your nation. This is the tool to do it. It's a 3-year license. You get your Prevention Plus Wellness program in a PDF. And so you could make unlimited copies of the manual and the digital downloads. Then if you get trained as a trainer, you can go ahead and train. So you can really train others in your region or state or nation. You can hand them the manual. So it's a very cost-effective way to really increase the reach of your program to other providers throughout your area, however broad that area might be. So that's the advantage of the unlimited Prevention Plus Wellness. You can make copies, you get updates of anything new during that 3-year license, etc. So really, really good tool and very popular at this point. Now let's talk about how Prevention Plus Wellness programs can be implemented. They are being implemented in all 50 states and internationally. They can be implemented in any setting where there's youth and young adults. And these are just some examples. You just scan down. Because of the flexibility, because you can implement them one-on-one or in a group, in person or online, just in a single session, they can really have a public health reach and impact to make to get those evidence-based messages and to develop self-regulation skills among young people in all of these settings and others. Now, let's take a look at the unique characteristics of Prevention Plus Wellness programs that really sets them apart from other prevention programs, health programs, evidence-based, non-evidence-based programs. So going from left to right, Prevention Plus Wellness programs are unique in that they not only address substance use prevention, but chronic disease risk behavior prevention. So it's a more holistic strategy. It's a broader strategy than just narrowly focusing on, let's say, vaping. Vaping is important. It's critical. 50% of youth in the nation have used e-cigarettes. But what we're saying is what's also critical is to have a broader strategy that pulls in and addresses these other risk factors that are also equally, if not more, of a risk for young people for chronic disease over time. Physical inactivity, sedentary living, screen time, not eating breakfast, not eating healthy foods like fruits and vegetables, not getting adequate sleep, not practicing daily stress control. All of these things are risk factors for chronic disease, obesity, diabetes, cancer, heart disease, that sort of over time. And they're more prevalent in most cases than are even the substance use risks among youth. So PPW programs are unique in that they integrate, they connect all of these and address all of these, in most cases, in a single session. So that's a unique aspect. Another thing, as I said, single session, permits broad public health reach, evidence-based practices, screening and brief intervention. The focus of all PPW programs is motivation. There is some education that goes on, but the real key, the real focus is motivating young people to avoid substance use and to increase some protective wellness behaviors at the same time. In the lower left-hand corner, Prevention Plus Wellness programs are based on positive image and behavior marketing theory. It's called the Behavior Image Model, BIM, and I'll be introducing that to you today or reviewing it for you if you've heard about it before. Multi-behavior goal setting. Goal setting is a key to initiating behavior change and over time to increasing self-regulation skills to teach youth the skills to shape their own behaviors. And the unique aspect of PPW is that it doesn't focus on just one behavior. For example, just the avoidance of substance use. It's also aimed at increasing protective wellness behavior. So it's multi-behavior goal setting. Promoting habits that improve not just physical, but also mental health, or not just mental, but physical health. So again, a broader holistic approach, PPW. Other unique aspects and characteristics of Prevention Plus Wellness programs is that it includes scripted content. Now, this increases the fidelity and reliability and the ease of use across implementer and across time. It can be the PPW programs can be easily tailored, and during our 2-hour online or in-person training for program implementers, we talk about this because we believe that in some settings, in some situations, in some populations, tailoring of content is critical. And so unlike other more rigid evidence-based programs, we believe that there's room for tailoring, and really that tailoring or customizing your program can be very, very important to maintaining its effectiveness. Scripts are included for individual and group implementation. All PPW programs include built-in pre-post tests. Why? Because it's essential for you as a prevention and health specialist to know how well you're doing with your youth or young adults and how well your program is performing. So it's very, very focused, and it'll give you the content and the feedback and the data to promote your program and to improve it over time. So we really are firm believers, and that's why we've developed that. We'll talk more about that. Includes program manual digital downloads, and all of our programs meet to varying degrees a national health education standards. That's, I know, important for some of you, but maybe not others. So let's talk a little bit more about all of these things in a little bit more depth. First of all, PPW programs address substance use and CDR, or chronic disease risk behaviors. And you look to the right, obviously alcohol and other drugs are addressed depending on the prevention plus wellness program you're using. The chronic disease risk behaviors that are addressed in PPW programs include obesity, screen time, physical inactivity by promoting physical activity, movement, and sports. Environmental, under 2B, environmental influences are addressed, especially in our high school age programs. Unhealthy nutrition and not eating breakfast, not eating healthy foods like fruits and vegetables are addressed in PPW programs. Lack of sleep, uncontrolled daily stress, and some of these other risk factors like racial discrimination and spirituality are addressed in some of our programs. Why screening and brief interventions? Well, there was a seminal study published in 2015 that reviewed all, at that time, all screening and brief interventions that found them to be effective up to a year later, these brief programs a year later for youth and for young adults. So strong research evidence. Then under number 2, we've conducted our own research with prevention plus wellness, screening and brief interventions. And on 2 studies or 2 analyses, we found effects lasting even a year after the single session sport and InShape programs. And then lastly, there was a good article under number 3 that highlighted really the wide range and diverse youth and youth settings that can be reached and addressed with screening and brief intervention. Because of their brevity, because they're motivational, you can really, really get out there and reach all youth or nearly all youth, which you wouldn't be able to do or can't do oftentimes with either more intensive or multi-session programs. Screening and brief interventions are evidence-based practice, and this is supported by SAMHSA, the Substance Abuse Mental Health Services Administration, who actually have their own, screening and brief intervention model called SBIRT, Screening, Brief Intervention, Referral to Treatment. CDC, or Centers for Disease Control, supports alcohol screening and brief intervention. World Health Organization supports alcohol screening and brief intervention. The National Institute on Alcohol Abuse and Alcoholism highlights alcohol screening and brief intervention for youth. The American Academy of Pediatrics and NIDA, or the National Institute on Drug Abuse, also support various types of screening and brief intervention for young people. Now, prevention plus wellness has obviously screening and brief intervention, and it's a 3-step process. So the first step is to screen youth for their current health habits, not just substance use, but protective wellness behaviors. And The purpose of this screening is to not determine risk as much as it is to have youth increase awareness among youth of their own healthy habits. That's step one, screening. Step two is providing feedback. Now, you provide feedback on each of those behaviors that were screened in the screening survey. You use positive image communication and messages. This is cues or triggers unconscious images young people have of themselves in the future being more fit, active, healthy, successful. This is very motivational. And to the extent that those are values for youth, that increases motivation for them to change those or improve those wellness behaviors. And of course, messaging, the feedback also includes how alcohol and drugs interferes with those wellness behaviors, benefits, and images. So that feedback is the second part, very, very important for increasing motivation for change. And then the third part, the bottom block there, is the action piece. That's where you initiate behavior change among young people. And then over time, to the extent that they continue to set goals, monitor goals, and achieve goals, they learn self-control, self-regulation skills, which are so needed among young people. So that's the three-step screening and brief intervention process all prevention plus wellness programs use. Let's look at the evidence supporting prevention plus wellness screening and brief interventions. There were refereed, peer-refereed articles published in these scientific journals. And if we collapse the findings across all of them, here's what we find. That the sports prevention plus wellness program, the single session program, significantly decreases alcohol initiation, quantity, frequency, heavy drinking, problems, drinking, driving even, while increasing physical activity. And it reduced cigarette smoking even a year after that single session. Among substance using youth, under number 4, it reduced binge drinking, smoking, marijuana use, increased physical activity for a year, up to a year later among those higher risk youth. It increased prevention and parent communication. Under number 6, we did one study where we just looked at 3 of the 4 parent flyers that are in the sport program and found that these parent flyers reduced alcohol use, problems and marijuana use among youth and increased youth and parent communication. Lastly, there was a translation of sport into Turkish language, and there was a controlled study done in Istanbul by a nurse who was working on a thesis or dissertation and found that in this controlled study, the sport program increased physical indices of physical activity, nutrition, sleep, and even mental health. We regularly collect qualitative or open-ended responses from youth participating in our programs. These are some from high school students in California, and they really help understand the quantitative data that we collect during our pre-post testing, and it really helps fill in the gaps and help understand the real impact that these programs can have on youth. For example, number 5, it'll change my mindset. In other words, motivate me to live a healthy lifestyle. So you can see really the wonderful outcomes by looking at and reading the actual feedback from participating youth. Sport as well as InShape are listed on a whole range, as I said, of evidence-based registries. These are just some of them. And we continue to conduct evaluation research on our program. So first of all, as I had mentioned earlier, we have built-in pre-post testing. That allows you to assess how well your evidence-based prevention plus wellness program works for you in your setting with your youth. And we're here to help you and with those data and provide those data for you. Secondly, when we do that, for some organizations, if they have a sizable number of youth, we do case studies. We highlight the successes of organizations that use our programs, and we're just writing some case studies right now about some of our providers and the successes they've reached using the data that they've collected, the pre-post surveys. And we have a continual call out there for those that want to partner with us to conduct research on any of our programs, particularly our one-session programs. And we're often, what we can do is we often can provide free program materials, and then if you can partner with us to evaluate our programs. So now let us talk about theory. Let's talk about the underlying conceptual model for all prevention plus wellness programs. It is the behavior image model, BIM. It's a marketing related model that focuses on positive images. And you could use it to develop your own integrated programs that integrate the prevention of risk behaviors like substance use while you promote wellness behaviors. So for example, A, promoting physical activity while preventing alcohol, or B, promoting healthy eating while preventing vaping e-cigarettes. So you can see they're integrated, they're more holistic, they're broader interventions that are based on the behavior image model. There's two components to the BIM. The first is the motivational piece. It's where you communicate positive, aspirational, social, and future content to young people. And that increases motivation for change of diverse behaviors, substance use, as well as healthy behaviors. Secondly, you utilize multiple behavior goal setting to initiate and maintain and increase self-regulation skills, actual behavior change. So those are the two components. Let's break it down a little bit more. This is a simplified logic model. Start on the top block and go down to the bottom block, the top block. And this is sort of step by step. This is what we identify as occurring during the change process, starting with you communicate. If you use a PPW program, you communicate behavior image messages that integrate wellness with substance use. This is believed to cue unconscious positive future images and social images of around wellness behaviors, these wellness behaviors that are targeted in prevention plus wellness programs: physical activity, sports, breakfast, nutrition, sleep, stress control. This increases awareness of wellness behavior images as values and risk behaviors or substance use as undesirable. This enhances motivation to set multiple behavior goals, and then you walk you through setting multiple behavior goals to initiate and maintain behavior change over time. That's the sequence from top to bottom. That's the logic model for prevention plus wellness programs. It's hinged on the first part, this motivational part, using positive images and behaviors. Now, using positive images versus not using image content or using negative images is supported in three areas: conceptually or theoretically, research, and practice. Conceptually, you've got theories like, I'm sorry, hang on just a second, I moved my picture. Possible selves theory, but a whole range of other behavioral theories that highlight image and modeling is critical to decision-making, health decision-making, especially among youth. Secondly, there's a ton of research that has been done in all these different areas that highlight the importance of images in youth making decisions about risky behaviors and healthy behaviors, including self-concept, prototype images, possible selves, as well as a positive identity. And these highlight the importance of images in decision-making. Lastly, the marketing and the advertising industry and major industries and businesses for decades have and continue to use positive, appealing images to sell their products. And so this highlights the strength and the power of images. And then lastly, we have learned well over a decade of using these programs, prevention plus wellness programs, that by focusing on positive behaviors rather than non or negative behaviors, this is very appealing to young people, to their parents, to communities, to organizations funding agencies, and so on. So positive behaviors are very much something that's enticing and appealing to a whole range of stakeholders. Now, if you look to the left, there's an example of Are We Having Blank Yet? So there's an example of advertising that continues today. They're selling a beer, but look at the images: positive, healthy, happy young people. And so we're not selling a product, but we are selling a lifestyle, and that is a healthy lifestyle. And that's where positive images come in. Now, how do you use these images? So we boiled it down to this motivational content or messaging in a two-step process. So again, this is all about motivation. The idea here is to trigger an unconscious image of themselves, of young people, that they want, that parents want for them, that we want for ourselves, of them being healthy, happy, strong, successful, etc. And this is done using two tools: vivid image terms and representation images or models. So you can see the models to the right: happy, healthy, nobody's using a Juul, nobody's drinking. And you'll see these images and see young people from children to young adults, depending on which PPW program you're using. We want to have you see representations or models of themselves engaged in healthy behaviors. So here is, again, the two-step messaging process so you can understand it better for those of you that will be implementing a prevention plus wellness program, or maybe you just want to know more about PPW programs. So the first step in messaging to increase motivation is to highlight the benefits, especially the self-images associated with a particular wellness behavior. So look at the quotation there. Young people, that's our target audience, who engage in regular physical activity, that's our target behavior, tend to feel energetic, sleep better, and look more active, fit, and confident. So those are the benefits. The image benefits are highlighted. They're highlighted with the underline. So you can see those are the really powerful image terms that again elicit an unconscious image of themselves. Who doesn't want to look energetic, active, fit, confident? We all do, and we want our children to be like that. And then other non-image benefits like sleep better. So that's what you're doing. First of all, you're highlighting benefits and images associated with the wellness behavior. The second step in imaging is to link how substance use, or a specific substance use, or different types of substance use or other risk behaviors is harmful to that behavior, the positive wellness behavior, and images and benefits. Like, quote, marijuana use can reduce your energy level. It sort of explains how. Reduce your energy level needed to participate in regular exercise and achieve your fitness goals of being in shape, looking good, and feeling fit and active. So that's it. Simple, direct, powerful, motivational. And that's the integration. Then that second piece, that's the motivational piece. The second piece is the multiple behavior goal setting. Here's how we do goal setting. Here's 6 components that we recommend that work well for us in our programs. Pledging or selecting those substance use or risk behaviors to avoid, selecting a wellness behavior and writing a measurable goal, obtaining a co-signature to increase motivation, planning a little bit by identifying a place to post the goals and monitor, and then completing a 7-day calendar log to keep that process going, to make sure that there's some movement. And then if you can, have youth reset goals after that. Notice short-term goals, 7-day goals. That's the theory. So now we're looking a little bit more about risk. Those of you in prevention, substance use prevention, know these data well. These are the latest youth risk behavior survey data for all high school students across the nation. You can see the risk level starting in the bottom. Alcohol is, I guess, would be considered the most prevalent risk, because you get 6 out of 10 youth that have tried alcohol sometime. Over half have tried e-cigarettes, and that's followed by well over a third trying marijuana, a quarter trying cigarettes, and then opioids. So you could see the different substances and the percentage of young people that have used it. Oftentimes, prevention specialists don't see this, and that is other risk behaviors, chronic disease risk behaviors. For example, on the top of this, you've got 3/4 of youth that aren't getting 8 hours of sleep every day. Some need 9, some need 10, but 3/4 are not even getting 8 hours. 2/3 are drinking soda. This is shocking, the one below that. 41% of youth, high school youth, are having one vegetable a day, less than one vegetable, or fruit a day. Can you believe it? They're supposed to have 5. Just one piece of fruit or extra vegetable a day could make a significant difference. Only a third eat breakfast. Less than a quarter are getting enough physical activity every day, etc. So this is what's going on among youth individually and in groups. There was a great study published in 2016 that showed that multiple health risk behaviors are common among American adolescents. Only 4.2% met all 8 health behavior guidelines in this study. Only 4.2. And yet, 10% had 5 or more risk behaviors at age 16. I'm sorry. We got a little background noise, so just try not to focus on it. I'm sorry. And this research also showed that these risk behaviors are interrelated with each other. The researchers stated prevention targeting multiple risk behaviors is needed. So lots of risk behaviors among youth, very common. And so integrated programs are needed. Another way to look at this is to look at the benefits of healthy habits. Healthy habits like nutrition, sleep, physical activity are associated with less depression, anxiety, less alcohol, tobacco, and illicit drug use. Improved physical and mental health and quality of life. More positive image, self-esteem, self-regulation, etc. Greater brain development, cognitive functioning, more opportunities to socialize, greater academic success. I'm on number 6 right now, as measured by less suspensions, greater attendance, less dropouts, and greater attending college and completing college. My apologies for the background noise. We actually had someone come in the front door and the dogs are going crazy. So anyway, all of this shows that the benefits of healthy lifestyle are broad. And of course, they also include preventing chronic disease under number 7. That's why we created an integrated model here for promoting whole health among youth. Look at the left side of the model. That's the focus. The focus is on substance use prevention. That's the blue ball, plus health behavior promotion together. Substance use prevention plus healthy behavior promotion. And then that's more likely together to increase the improvement of mental and physical health. And that improves and strengthens substance use prevention and healthy behavior promotion. So it's a cyclical, a synergistic kind of not synergistic, a cyclical integrated kind of a model. But the key is addressing substance use prevention and healthy behavior promotion together. Now, there's some real benefits to having scripted content in prevention plus wellness programs. You could read the pros there: easy to use, less training time, increases reliability, fidelity. And all you need to do is is practice that script and have your manual with you and you're ready to go. We talked about tailoring before. We highlight tailoring in our training of our program implementers. And tailoring is important in certain settings. Tailoring can be done by simply co-branding your slides, putting your organization's logo or name on the head slide, the cover slide. You can do that, no problem, and I think that's a great thing to do. But you can also change the images. If you think the images don't represent your population, you could switch out the images. You could add some extra content if you want to. And there's some examples here in the slide if you take a look at it. All you have to do is all we recommend is that if you were to change any of the slides of your program, send them to us first so we can review them, give you feedback, and if we learn something, we'll share that with others. So we encourage the tailoring of programs, and the easy way to do that is to make some changes to your slides. And all we ask is that you send us the slides in advance of using them. So you have these scripts for implementing your programs, prevention plus wellness programs to youth one-on-one or in a group. The one-on-one is more tailored, so that's likely to be the more effective strategy because research shows that tailoring an intervention can improve its efficacy. But you also have a group script. That's the more efficient way. You can address more youth at one time. You have both of those scripts, and the scripts use the same slides, so you can toggle back and forth. One day you could implement it one-on-one, another day in a group, and vice versa, not a problem. Our programs are being implemented among all youth as a universal prevention intervention, but also among high-risk youth as a selective or indicated intervention. Lots of flexibility and lots of reach with prevention plus wellness programs through the use of the scripts. We also have built-in pre and post tests. I mentioned this earlier. You have two versions of that, those surveys, I should say. You've got a scannable version and you've got an online version. And we're happy to send you a customized link to the pre and post test online version so that your organization can have your data just for yourselves. This allows, these pre-post surveys allows you to collect and to assess immediate focused outcomes of your program for promoting and improving your program. You can implement your pre-test immediately before the lesson, post-test immediately after, so you don't even have to follow up with you. So it's a very efficient and yet helpful and useful data that you can get. There's two measures that are predictive of future behavior, future health behavior of youth. The most predictive is behavioral intentions. The other is perceived harmfulness. And the beauty is that these measures are not just of one substance, but 5 substances. Usually alcohol, cigarettes, e-cigarettes, marijuana, and either other illicit drugs or opioids. And 4 of the protective wellness behaviors, physical activity, nutrition, sleep, and stress control. So you have a really broad sense of program outcomes. And there are, under number 4, qualitative data, as I mentioned before. So you get in the words of youth themselves, how did this program have an impact on their motivation, on their behavior, on their substance use, on their healthy habits, on their self-esteem, etc. Really, really good content. And lastly, we provide that data to you free. You could send us the scanned data, we'll run an analysis. If it's online data, we'll send you the online SurveyMonkey results and even the raw data. So it's a fantastic opportunity for you to see how well your program is doing. We offer training along with all PPW programs. Those of you that are being trained as a program implementer know that because you're involved in the training right now. This core knowledge session is a part of the 2-hour live program implementer training. We also have a 2-hour live train the trainer. We have in-person training either through a train the trainer where you're training other implementers in your region, or we can come out to your site and provide a one-day training for you where we can do program implementer and train the trainer all in a single session. And we provide weekly free webinars. These are some of the free resources on our website. If you haven't been to our website yet, go there, please, preventionpluswellness.com. Drop in your email so that you're on our email list and stay up to date with our resources. But if you go to our website, look at the menu, go to the heading of resources, you'll see these things here. And all of these will give you, even if you're not using any of our programs, these are free materials for you on our website, preventionpluswellness.com, under the heading of resources. As I mentioned before as well, PPW programs address national health education standards. These standards were designed to promote and support health enhancing behaviors of students at all grade levels. There are things that students should know and learn and can do to promote personal as well as family and community health. There's the link on the bottom right. You can go to our website. This is right on our website to learn more about how PPW programs address national health education standards. So in conclusion, 3 important points to make. Number 1, PPW programs include evidence-based and evidence-informed brief programs. Most of them are just a single session. They address youth and young adult alcohol, tobacco, e-cigarettes, marijuana, opioids, other risk factors for promoting and integrate, I should say, prevention of those risk factors and substances and the promotion of wellness behaviors. Number 2, PPW programs have multiple unique characteristics that separate them from other prevention programs. Just to mention a couple: screening and brief intervention format, which is evidence-based practices, multi-behavior and positive image focus, scripted content, and others, which makes PPW programs very easy to use, quick to use, and can be broadly used throughout your entire organization or region. Thirdly, research and theory strongly supports the efficacy of PPW programs, screening and brief interventions to prevent and reduce substance use and to promote wellness behaviors. Here's a shot of our website at this moment in time. Explore it. It's a lot of fun, a lot of good content on our website, preventionpluswellness.com. You could reach us at our home phone, 904-472-5022, or email us at info@preventionpluswellness.com here in St. Augustine, Florida. All right, let me stop at this point and see if anyone has any questions or comments. If you have any, find that chat space, click on it and type in anything you want. Do you have anything to say? You have any questions? Was there anything you didn't understand? And we've got people from all over the world today. And there's our beautiful people from Indonesia saying hi and welcome to today's training. Let me know if you have any questions about PPW programs, training, theory, research, programs for youth, for parents, video, unlimited PPW programs, the behavior image model, the 2-step messaging process, the multi-behavior goal setting. Any of those things, I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have. And I'll just wait a couple minutes and see if anybody has anything. And I'm happy to answer if you do have any questions. Let me stop sharing at this point. And so I don't see anything, so I'm assuming everything went well. I'll send everybody 1-hour CEU certificate, link to this recorded session, PDF slides. Don't need to send me a message. I'll be sending this to you later today. So we got somebody saying, this was so amazing and informative. Thank you very much. Plan to continue to attend trainings. I myself, substance abuse prevention. Thank you. Thank you very much for those kind comments, Lori. I appreciate that very much. All right, I'm going to say goodbye then. Have a great afternoon. Stay well. God bless you all for what you do for youth and families in your region. If we can help in any way to support you, to help you with your job, to make it easier, to make your job more effective or broader or stronger or anything at all, do feel free to reach out to us and see if we can partner in some way. Until then, have a great day, everyone. Thank you.